have to just keep insisting to myself that, you know, we don't have to like it, but we do have to accept it. And that's what he wanted to do.
And raced he did, to his death. Speculation first said oil on the track, but Friday night a NASCAR spokesman said it was, quote, driver error. Here's more speculation. In 2 days, there were 3 major wrecks, and all 3 cars on Hoosier tires. Most likely coincidence, but maybe not.
Goodyear had a really good deal. I mean, the tire's real super safe and everything. Now Hoosiers came in, made a softer tire, and every now and then it'll run quicker than a Goodyear, so then the Goodyear's going to have to make a softer tire. And when you do that, you start getting yourself in a danger zone.
Safety's first. We do all of our homework at home, in-house wheel testing and everything as far as the safety part goes. Our design and our construction of our tire is, we feel, very comfortable with it.
Speculation will continue, but one thing's for sure. The remaining members of the Alabama gang believe it wasn't all Bonnet's fault.
I don't know if he made any mistake. But somehow, he didn't do all the right things when the car got out of shape.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I know a lot y'all don't know. I won't talk about it anymore.
Carl works just about every night on his car. Racing for him is pretty much a hobby, but one that's growing.
We took a year and we were kind of building that year, and we were able to gather up some parts and stuff like that, where we weren't just running with just one thing. So we've got another car over here that we're going to probably get together and be able to use on the short tracks.
As he said, last year was to learn from. Carl only ran in 8 races, but finished 20th in points. For '94, he plans on entering the entire 18-race schedule, starting Friday at Daytona.
I don't know if you're excited or just nervous or scared or just complete confusion as to what's going to happen, because you pretty much made everything here handmade. It's, you know, it's kind of like making a big cake and, you know, wondering how it's going to come out of the oven. And Daytona's the place where we're going to find that out.
For Carl Jennings, hopes are high, but he knows at Daytona there are a lot of teams in the same situation.
We'd like to make the race, qualify, have a decent run, finish would be wonderful. We just want to make a good show. We want to see checkered flag.
No sport puts more on the line at the start of the season than Winston Cup racing. The Daytona 500 is it, and tradition keeps it that way.
When it's over with, it's just another race. Coming up to it, it's like it's the only race, and then after it's over with, you've got the whole season in front of you and 30 more races.
I used to say the same thing, and I do to a point. You know, if everybody remembers, I crashed here and finished 35th or something like that. 4 weeks later, I had the point lead. But when the year's all done, if I wouldn't have crashed, I'd have probably won the championship.
What makes Daytona so special? You know, Mark Martin's right. Points-wise, it means the same as any other race. Champions are crowned at the end of the season. But for some reason, some mystical reason, a win at the Daytona International Speedway in February means just about everything.
I think you can ask football players and ask them what they work so hard for all year long, ask it to the Super Bowl, and we have our Super Bowl first thing off.
Yet the championship's at the beginning of the year. Is it always going to be that way, though?
Well, I don't see how you can change that hardly. It's just the way it happens. I don't think Daytona would move their schedule to the end of the year, but certainly would be nice because it is the Super Bowl.
It's the prestige. You know, that's what it's all about. Look at Dale. You know, he's won everything in sight, and how many championships? 6 or, yeah, 6, I guess, and he's never won here. This is the place.
For maybe the greatest driver ever, Victory Lane at Daytona is the one place Dale Earnhardt wants to visit in February. Ken Slats, 15 Sports. He's Coastal Carolina's only true freshman. 6 foot 4 inch, 180-pound Matt Walker has adjusted to college basketball and plays an important role for this year's Chants.
I feel it's a big adjustment for me because in high school I'm used to playing 32 minutes a game. Then I come here and I average about 8 minutes a game. Sometimes I find myself being frustrated. But I talk to family at home, they just tell me to keep my head and my time will come.
He's a player that has an awful lot of God-given talent, and he's starting to really come into his own and does a good job of running the show. An outstanding penetrator, a great athlete, and I think he's going to be an outstanding guard for Coastal Carolina for the next 3 years.
And that's the good feeling for the next 3 years. Walker's talent is at the point guard, a position he'll take over by continuing his hard work.
We need a player like Matt who can step in and hopefully start for us at guard next year. He's an outstanding player that complements Kiki Hicks very, very well, and I think he's very unselfish, and I think that, you know, he's really growing a lot as a freshman.
I feel my junior year will be this will be my team, where I can run the team and just do what I have to do and show my leadership on the floor.
His leadership is needed earlier, especially with his talents. Matt's big and strong for a point guard, but can do things on the court that no one else can.
He's got some tremendous basketball instincts as far as passing the basketball and finding the open man, and sometimes he sees people open before they even know they're open. And that's one of the things I noticed about him right off the bat, just playing in pickup games with him.
He does add a lot to our team, and you know, as his game develops, we may change the way we play. We play differently when he's in there. You know, it's a different look, and it's a real pick-me-up.
There's things that I feel that I want to accomplish, which I have goals myself, working on my game. But every day I just try to make everybody better and myself.
Ask any Coastal basketball player why he came to play for the Chants, you'll get the same answer: to be able to play in the big tournament. But now that chance has been taken away.
We still didn't think that this was the right decision made because, like I said, that tournament was a big goal for us, and it's like we're being punished for something we didn't do.
Pretty compelling reason or some pretty compelling information that indicated that we had participated throughout the year with some players that may have been recruited outside the regulations of the NCAA, and that was the most deciding factor.
The bottom line for the seniors, this is their final game here at the Coop in Conway. The big question, how did this all begin? Dean Murray has already been implicated, but he was contacted by the NCAA. The major leak came from another source.
I'm most definite that Chris Christensen, assistant coach here last year, is involved because he told me before the season even started that he was going to take Russ Bergman down. Was pretty much his comment, something to that effect. I don't remember. He said, you know, that Coach Bergman wasn't going to be able to treat him the way he did and get away with it because Coach Bergman did fire him.
The decision to pull out of the Big South tournament, was it discussed at all with Russ Bergman?
I informed Russ of Dr. Ingles and my decision, and he, of course, wanted to know if there was any way we could get around that. And we met again. The three of us met Wednesday morning and decided that it was still the best course to take.
Was Russ in agreement with the decision?
No, I think he would have rather played in the tournament, but he accepted the decision, and no more was said about it.
Reporting from Conway, Ken Slats, 15 Sports. Ask any Coastal basketball player why he came to play for the Chants, you'll get the same answer: to be able to play in the big tournament. But now that chance has been taken away.
We still didn't think that this was the right decision made because, like I said, that tournament was a big goal for us, and it's like we're being punished for something we didn't do. Pretty compelling reason or some pretty compelling information that indicated that we had participated throughout the year with some players that may have been recruited outside the regulations of the NCAA, and that was the most deciding factor.
The bottom line for the seniors, this is their final game here at the Coop in Conway. The big question, how did this all begin? Dean Murray has already been implicated, but he was contacted by the NCAA. The major leak came from another source.
I'm most definite that Chris Christensen, assistant coach here last year, is involved because he told me before the season even started that he was going to take Russ Bergman down. Was pretty much his comment, something to that effect. I don't remember. He said, you know, that Coach Bergman wasn't going to be able to treat him the way he did and get away with it because Coach Bergman did fire him.
The decision to pull out of the Big South tournament, was it discussed at all with Russ Bergman?
I informed Russ of Dr. Ingles and my decision, and he, of course, wanted to know if there was any way we could get around that. And we met again. The three of us met Wednesday morning and decided that it was still the best course to take.
Was Russ in agreement with the decision?
No, I think he would have rather played in the tournament, but he accepted the decision, and no more was said about it.
Reporting from Conway, Ken Slats, 15 Sports. Next destination, High Point, North Carolina, the District 26 tournament. The Cobras need to dig deep and rebound from a season-ending loss to Lise McRae.
The key to our success this year has been defense, and you know, we didn't play a good defensive game that game. And the last couple of practices, last couple of days, we've been working on defense, you know, which is the key to winning, winning a championship.
You know, the team looks to me as their leader. If I'm down, they'll be down. You know, we've got to get through this, and I think we have. We've had some very good practices, you know, since Saturday's game, and I really believe we're ready to play.
Ready or not, Coker opens up Friday, 5 o'clock against St. Andrews.
What are some of the things you guys need to do and keep doing correctly during the tournament to go ahead and win it?
Just play hard as long as possible, longer than anybody else plays hard, I think. And if we can do that longer than the opposing team, we'll be #1.
For us, we need to win 3 games in a row, and we go to the national tournament in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know, that's been our goal all year. The 3 teams that we hope to face, we've beaten. And if we just do things like we're supposed to and keep improving every game, we've got as good a chance as anybody in our league.
Reporting from Hartsville, Ken Slats, 15 Sports. Drag racing, cars in all shapes, all colors, and sizes. One thing in common, they enter the fast lane.
Last weekend I ran 302 miles an hour in Houston, Texas, so I was the 15th member of the 300 mile an hour club, so things are really starting to come around. You know, I asked yesterday what the track record in speed was here at 278 miles an hour. I said, well, I think we might be able to beat that.
It has pretty good traction, and I like the air down here. You know, the air normally is real good below sea level, which allows the cars to run faster, you know, than a track that was above sea level.
One of our favorite tracks, first thing, because I won here in 1977, and then I was the first car to ever run the 6s and did it right here. So, you know, we have to feel a little different about coming to Darlington always. If it's been good to anybody, it's been good to me.
Darlington International Dragway, not exactly the fastest track on the circuit, but these cars right here at other tracks can reach speeds of more than 300 miles per hour.
You really get to the point that it's enough fear in it that you think every time it's real dangerous, but then it's so much of a thrill to ride that you want to do it again.
When it ran 300 miles an hour, I could not pull my head back from the roll cage. It had me planted clear to the back of the car, you know, and the G-forces were incredible. And I thought, man, what a run, you know. And they told me it ran 300 miles an hour. I was amazed, but yet in the back of my mind, I knew it did. You know?
In the fast lane at Darlington, Ken Slats, 15 Sports. There's more than one message at Terrell's Bay. When Taft Watson preaches it, everybody listens.
Generally, we perform very well in large gyms and around a lot of people. And we're building our thinking and our attitude that it's Terrell's Bay against the world. and it works.
Here's proof that it works. 36 years Watson has coached basketball at Terrells Bay High School. 15 state title appearances, 7 state titles.
They will give you the award and the trophy. And we know how to act. And that's it.
Why does he keep coaching?
He loved the sport. I mean, he loved it. I mean, he sit home on Sunday and just watch basketball.
Taft Watson is no doubt a South Carolina high school coaching legend. The gymnasium here is named after him. In fact, every day he comes to work, in order to get here, he has to take Taft Watson Drive.
Each morning I seem to get a new feeling because not everybody can get a street named after them. Not every coach, and I know some great coaches that never had a gym named after them. So it does give me a feeling that somehow, in some way, I have arrived.
Saturday, Watson will coach the girls at noon and the boys at 1:30. Third time in his career he's pulled double duty at the state finals. In Centenary, Ken Slats, 15 Sports. It's a test at the best. No track tougher than Darlington. Even the experienced come back for more.
I guess as much as anything, that's a major part of coming to Darlington is Darlington, the tradition, the things that have taken place here, the oldest super speedway, and certainly one of the most difficult racetracks on the circuit to race on.
Waltrip has won 5 times at Darlington, the last coming in the fall of '92. In fact, he's only won 5 races overall since 1991. Year number 4 for Darrell Waltrip as both car owner and driver. It's been a rough start so far this year, but a 3rd place finish this past weekend in Atlanta has really boosted his confidence.
Anytime you come to Darlington, you need something positive to come here with, because you may not leave here with it, but you need something to come here with. So it's always fun to come here, and it's really neat coming here now with Jim Hunter being here and the things that are going to happen here over the next year and a half or two. And it's fun to see this place taking shape and getting back to the really tradition and form it had a few years ago.
As the tradition continues, D-Dub hopes to cruise on into victory lane at least once more. Ken Slats, 15 Sports. It's 2 in a row for the 59 car at Darlington Spring Race. Robert Presley drove it into victory lane both times. Now it's BGN rookie Dennis Setzer's turn.
This is a different driver, different year. You know, we plan on running our very best anywhere we go. So if I can learn what I need to know, I'm sure we'll have the car probably to be able to do it with.
And he's learning from one of the best, a Darlington legend, David Pearson.
So I'm just here trying to help him. He's never been here before, and just try to help him relax is the main thing. And I told him not to pay any attention about the speeds he's running, and just relax. And the more he runs, the better off he'll be. And
he's rode me around the track and showed me some different lines and some places you need to be at certain times, you know, and stuff. That means a lot to have the years of experience he's got behind him to give you a few quick minutes of pointers.
No one has dominated Darlington more than David Pearson. Count them, 10 wins in all. I think it's safe to say that he likes to call this place home.
I guess the reason that I had so much success here is because that everybody did talk about how tough it was, you know, and it here in South Carolina, and I'm from South Carolina too, and so of course, ever since the day I come here, I always thought that you know, that this is one of the races that I'd like to win, and of course, I won quite a few here, so and I enjoyed it, and I guess that's the reason you try so much harder than you do anywhere else.
Reporting from the track too tough to tame at Darlington, Ken Slats, 15 Sports. The recent return of Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning might be too late. Even though the Hornets have won 4 of 5, a spot in the playoffs is almost out of sight.
Makes a big difference. It make it feel like we have a chance, and it was those 2 guys back. They're not 100%, but just them being on the court makes a big difference for us, and we just got to keep pushing this thing through.
Charlotte's loss to Seattle on Sunday really puts the team in a hole. In order to make the playoffs, they must win their next 16 of 19. That's only if Indiana and New Jersey play 500 the rest of the way.
I'm hopeful that somewhere along the line they go on a little
a little losing streak, and next thing you know, we right there. But as long as we can do our part, we can't do nothing. We can't, you can't think about anything we can't control, which is those guys winning or losing. We got to do our part.
And the Hornets' part starts on defense. The scoring will come along.
All the guys, you know, they take pride in playing defense, you know, especially now when they understand the importance of trying to stop some people, you know, because we're trying to get ourselves into that playoff pitching.
At the Hive in Charlotte, Ken Slats, 15 Sports. The week race fans wait for is here, racing at Darlington. Former driver Cale Yarborough won 5 times at the track Too Tough to Tame, but as an owner, has yet to see one of his drivers in victory lane.
You know, you come here with a lot more prepared, I think, because Cale, this is his hometown, and, you know, he wants to showcase his team as well as he can here. So the pressure's on. We got to come down here and dial the old girl in and see what happens.
Kind of relaxed atmosphere here today out on the golf course. You might think, well, Sundays when all the intensity builds up, but not now. Fridays are so important to qualify well.
You know, you're just seeing that the speeds, you know, just go quicker and quicker. So, you know, I think you're seeing that you're going to have to come here again, like Rusty alluded to earlier, about being very, very orientated towards qualifying, getting the car go as fast as you can, and then start working on the setup.
It's no coincidence that Winston Cuppers have a weekend off before the race at Darlington. That extra time to prepare really helped Cope and his crew.
We went to Bristol and tested for 2 days very extensively up there, and the race car reacted very well. We ran some very, very fast laps below the track record, and, you know, with all the new things they've done up there and all, we really, I think, are coming back here with some renewed optimism to go here and have a good run with the Fingerhut Ford.
Ken Slats reporting, 15 Sports.